Hi y'all, welcome to the Knit+Sip Podcast. I'm Kate.
I'm Sarah.
And thanks for tuning in. We decided to revamp the podcast. I had started this, but decided it was too hard to do everything on my own. And so I'm really grateful to have made a lot of friends in the past year, Sarah being an awesome one. And so we're coming back with the Knit+Sip Podcast in a whole different way.
Yeah, I'm excited to join you.
Yeah,
Never done anything like this before, so
I'm so excited to have a friend helping me, really. It's just too hard to do things on your own. And I tried to do it for a while, and you know what? You just can't do everything on your own. Yeah. So we are going to Rhinebeck this year, about maybe 10 or 12 people from my store. So backing up a little bit, I own Over the Next Row in Louisville, Kentucky, and last year, I started the store about 18 months ago, and last year went to Rhinebeck alone, and that was a great experience, but just have grown so much and made so many friends in the past year that now there's about, I think, 12 of us going from the store. So pretty cool. And Sarah and I are here to talk about what we're wearing, what we're bringing, things that we're going to look out for there, some of our plans, and get pumped up for Rhinebeck. Yeah. So thanks for joining us. Yeah. All right. Do you want to talk about
so we decided as a group, since we were all going to Rhinebeck, that we were going to all knit the same thing, obviously. So we knitted the Weekender, any variation. So I'm wearing the Weekender crew without the pockets. And you're wearing the normal one.
Yep, the crew. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep, same yarn and everything too. Although we just realized that we were a walking Christmas commercial and that was not planned.
So I didn't know you knitted the same yarn.
I did, same yarn.
This is Aimee Corrie worsted in the color the Shire.
And mine is the color I'm not gonna say this right. It's behind you. Coquelicot. I'm probably really not
Coquelicot?
That might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like. So that's what it is. I'm probably not saying that right at all, but mine was done in the spirit of being my IU basketball sweatshirt. Nice. I took it to an IU football game, and I'm sure it's going to come to my IU basketball game with me that we're going to on Valentine's Day too. So I get any excuse to knit anything in red, pretty much.
Yeah, that's how I feel about green. So, and I actually went to a Notre Dame football game this past weekend, and I wore this there. So worked out.
Yes. And I made a knitting friend too when I went to the IU football game.
So
she was sitting a few rows ahead of me, and my husband was just looking at me like, "Oh, I really hate taking you anywhere." And I'm like, "I'm gonna go talk to her. I think she made her sweater."
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. I love it. Yeah. That's so funny.
She was really sweet.
That's
too.
Good. That's good.
So, yep.
Okay.
So this is what the store is wearing to Rhinebeck on Saturday. Yep. But I know that everyone is pretty much bringing, some other knits for the weekend. So our plans are that we're going up Friday, and we're going to hit Cake. Some of us are going to hit Indy Untangled, Rhinebeck Saturday and Sunday. So what have you got for your other days?
Yeah, so I have, I just finished this 2 days ago. I just finished drawing this morning. This is the Cornelia Cardigan by Sandnes Garn. It doesn't have any buttons, but it is finished. My buttons actually just arrived today, so I'm gonna go get those after this. But that's awesome. The yarn I use is Sandnes Garn Alpakka wool, and then I was going to use their Alpakka Folgatrod, but they didn't have a color match, and it was way too light, so it was gonna look. This is a little bit marled.
It is definitely.
But the other yarn I used for the lace is Cascade Alpakka lace.
Nice.
So yeah, and the color I think like chocolate, but. I think it looks really good.
Yes.
It's very drapey. So this is the back. The sleeves don't have any decreases.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I think I'm gonna put some elastic here and at the end to make them a little cinched because they're a little wide.
Sarah's pretty cool because she can also sew. I'm not really talented in that department, so but she adds elastic to lots of things. Someday you'll have to teach me how to do that.
I'm also gonna put elastic in the neckline because it's a little too wide for me. So. But yeah, that's my Cornelia cardigan.
Is that your Friday or your Sunday?
I think I'm going to wear it on Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm going to wear on Friday yet. Because it's going to be like a plain / traveling knit too.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've noticed I've been on so many planes the past month, so I think I always thought they were going to be cold. But then like the past couple times I've been on planes, I've been so hot and sweaty.
Really?
Yeah, like
oh my gosh.
like the first 30 or 20 minutes I'll be just sweating. and then I'll be fine after that. So I just,
That's so interesting.
But I do have my yellow Colette pullover that I might bring.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you should do your...
Or the softest one.
Yeah.
The mohair one?
Yep, the mohair one.
I might do that because it's holy, so it's breezy.
It'll breathe. Yeah.
Okay.
So the last time I was on a plane, I was flying solo with my 2 kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I was sweating buckets, but I thought it was the anxiety of traveling with and one of my kids had never been on a plane before.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking me, solo, 2 kids, 3 flights.
Yeah.
So I thought I was just sweating from the stress.
No,
but that's interesting you say that. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
They've been really hot, so.
Well, shoot, because I'm planning on wearing something hot on Sunday back, so, but I guess I'll just deal. Or maybe it will be night. So, I'm going to show you my Friday outfit and then my Sunday outfit.
Okay.
So, I buy my knits things a lot. So, or actually in this case, I bought the blazer first and then realized, oh my gosh, I have yarn that matches the blazer exactly, and I'm pretty excited about it. So this is the Aosta Tee by the Knit Pearl Girl, and definitely marling the yarn, though it was intentional, you don't see the pattern as well. So if you're going to do this, which it was a really easy pattern, and I absolutely love the fit of it. I feel like I'd made something else by her before and liked the fit too, but like the fit of this is so good. So this is 2 strands of knitting for olive merino, all double, and then I did, of course, the accent color. Just it all really just matches my blazer. So the whole thing was done so that it would look really put together. But like I said, maybe choose a solid color yarn because I think the pattern would show up better. It's, you know, kind of her signature pattern. She calls it the Andalasia stitch. I don't know that it's anything quite that difficult to, it's like 3 rows of knit with a 1x1 rib on the 4th row. So, I mean, nothing super complicated, but it's kind of her signature thing. I like it. And then my Sunday is not done yet, but I'll show you what I've got.
It's so chunky. I love
it's so chunky. So I will say that I think it is at my max tolerance for the oversized factor. And I knit it in the smallest size, which I am not necessarily someone who's going to knit something in the smallest size, but I knit this one in the smallest size. I absolutely love it. We'll put some better pictures of all of this, but it is the 1x1 cross. It definitely, it's like a 1x1 cross, either right cross or left cross every row, and it got me. So I am going to be ready to be done with it. It's definitely a little more oversized than I'd hoped. It's going to get steam blocked. I'm not blocking that because if it gets any bigger, I'm going to lose my love for it. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. But I really think, yes, between how labor intensive it has been and the oversized factor, I'm ready for it to be over.
So. I actually did bring something else. I'm planning on wearing this to Rhinebeck, but it's not done yet. So I'm going to show you all. So this is the Traveler Shawl by Andrea Mowry, knit with my own handspun, which is really cool. This is my first actual handspun, like successful handspun. But this is the shawl so far.
I'm petting it, sorry.
So this is some fiber from the Yarn Jam Podcaster collection. It's in the color Marlene Knits, and I totally copied Marlene because she made a Traveler Shawl in her handspun.
Oh, nice.
And I'm planning on taking it because she's actually going to Rhinebeck and I want to show her. So, but this is what my handspun looks like. It's a Shanico fiber, so it's a cross between, I think, Rambouillet and Merino. So it's really soft, really squishy, and it's a 2x3 rib, so, it's like a horizontal rib because it's just pearls and knits, but it looks like a 2x3 rib. But it's very nice.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
And it's very squishy, so.
That's amazing. So we chose the weekender for the Rhinebeck knit along because we have a lot of people who are going who have just started knitting in the past year, and so we wanted something that would be, you know, iconic, where they'd feel like, oh yeah, this is, you know, in line with what I'm seeing here, but not that would be maybe the color work and things that so many people do, which is amazing to show off your skill set with that, but I didn't want people to feel like a lot of anxiety about getting it done and everything. So it's going to be really cool to see the Knit+Sip crew who's going. It's going to be cool to see everyone's different patterns, because we had a lot of people do like fingering, a lot of people do worsted, some do DK, and all kinds of different yarns. So you have some LBA, some mono, some Madeline Tosh, Yeah,
everything.
Lots of different yarns. So
yeah.
It's going to be pretty cool to see. We'll definitely take and post some good pictures, and you can see that in our post Rhinebeck update.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you bringing for your plain project?
So I am working on this. Is actually for my sister. It is a Maggie cardigan by Petite Knit. I'm using Knitting for Olive cotton merino and their compatible cashmere in the color cream. But I have joined under, or split for sleeves. And then I've done part of a sleeve, and I'm going to make it long sleeve. So the pattern is actually a short sleeve cardigan. Okay. But that's not real. I'm also going to make this for myself and make it long sleeve, but I just loved the construction of the shoulders. It's I think it's English tailoring shoulder. Oh, where it has, so it's like, it looks right here. Yes. So it looks like a set and sleeve, but it's kind of like a raglan. It's very interesting. But I love that one. I love the back detail. That's so pretty. But it has been very interesting to knit. The cashmere lace does not like to stick to the cotton merino. So I have had to like tink back whenever I drop stitches a lot. But it's mostly fine. But these are the two yarns. It's just the colored cream. My sister is also really sensitive to wool, which is why I'm using the cotton merino with the cashmere lace. Yeah.
And I do carry both those yarns in the store. Yes. So not that I'm trying to plug the store on everything, but those are definitely Knitting for Olive. I love Knitting for Olive. I love their story. I love their focus on, sustainably and ethically sourced products and safe dyes and things like that.
I'm also a big fan of Knitting for Olive, so yeah, use them a lot.
Me too. Yeah. Yep, as you can see with the Aosta. So plain project wise, I am going to probably be bringing, we'll see if I can get away with this, but I'm going to be bringing, you can't really tell, this is not gone very far yet, but I'm still trying to get my Rhinebeck knits done. But I've got my son, I'm going to do a hoodie saurus for my son, so we'll post a picture of that. He loves dinosaurs, he's 4, and so he wanted.
Is that what you were wearing in that picture that someone sent in the group chat?
No.
I saw that the other day, and it was so funny.
I think had I not had a few beers, I wouldn't have even done that. So, no. So, our friend Courtney is it's done. Mm-hmm. She made a dinosaur crochet jacket for her nephew. Yeah. And for some reason, they all nominated me. Probably you're lucky you weren't there that night, because they were like, well, you're the smallest. I'm like, I'm not that small. But they were like, you're the smallest, so you need to put it on. So they made me put on her nephew.
Oh my god.
Dinosaur.
That's so funny.
We'll post a picture of it. Yes.
Maybe.
I do crochet too, but that one was, the reason I don't want to use that one, it was a really big, it was like Bernat blanket yarn, and I really hate working with that. And she does too. She's like, I'm never gonna do this again.
Yeah. So slippery too.
So it's like, I need to find a pattern I'll actually enjoy making. And so I found a knitted pattern called the Hoodie Saurus.
Nice.
And so it's really similar to that, and we'll see. So it's a worsted weight yarn, and he actually chose this. He really liked how fluffy the Loopy Mango was. So hopefully, I know Loopy Mango was at Rhinebeck last year. Hopefully we'll get to see them again. But then I was a little bit worried about, for a 4-year-old, how much, and I mean, granted, this is on a size 8 needle, so it isn't as if it's really loose, but I was a little bit worried about if it gets like pulled on something. So I ended up putting, and I'm gonna have to be really careful about how this changes the gauge and everything, although we all know me and I didn't gauge swatch, but we'll just see. I'm gonna measure measure as I go. So like Gigi made it always says, measure 3 times and finish once, and so I'm going to be measuring a lot as I go. And if I don't do as many increases, because it's a little bit bigger, I don't do as many increases. We'll be trying it on a lot. So I put mono sock yarn with it, which has a little bit of nylon in it and everything. I thought it would just give it a little bit more hold. Plus, I think the little marled factor is cool in it. It's kind of fun. So it's a provisional cast on. That's why the gray.
Oh, nice.
But so we'll keep you posted on how that one's going. I'm of course doing a cardigan for my daughter too, but I don't think I can bring both. We'll see if I get away with that. I'll have to hide hers like I took it with me. I also am... His will be smaller. That's why I'm doing his better plain project.
Oh, yeah. I also am working on a sweater for my boyfriend. So we'll see if the sweater curse is real or not.
I know. That's going to be a good question.
So I'm actually, he's very excited about it, so I think it's fine. He's actually so excited about it. He's just like, I just want something made for me. I'm like, oh. I've already made him socks too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he loves them. They're made out of the Swanky Sock by, what is it called? What is that called? Swanky Sock? Oh, Magpie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's,
but I'm making him the Eric sweater. I'll put in a picture of it.
Yeah, I don't know if I know that one.
Yeah, it's a free, I think it's a free Folkalana pattern.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was free. But it's like a kind of like a saddle shoulder, but it has a back panel.
Nice.
And then you knit down from there. You pick up and knit.
I like that construction. I've done that a few different times with like cardigans and stuff, and I do like that.
Have you ever seen the Paul cardigan? It's kind of like that, or the Paul sweater. But
I think mine was the coffee shop cardigan by Hire Snakes.
So. Oh, nice. Yeah, but I'm making that out of here again. I'm probably gonna bring that with me too. Nice. So yeah, I'm almost done with the body. Half a sleeve's done. So. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so why do you do part of the body and part of the sleeve? Tell me about that.
First of all, that sweater is massive because it's made for a man.
Yeah, great.
So I finished the yoke.
Small,
yeah, no, he's not. So I finished it. I joined in the round under the sleeves. And I think I either like finished a ball or I was just like, I want to go to a sleeve. So I started a sleeve, and I also have been having really bad not yoke gauge, but like row gauge issues.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
So I've been making a lot of like in the round yoke sweaters that have just gone way past my armpit.
Oh,
so I'm pretty conscious about that now. So I actually, when I was test knitting the Maxine sweater for Laura Penrose, and it's like it's like so low.
Oh,
so my gauge,
and it's not supposed to be. That's not the design.
The yoke is supposed to finish like right here, and it's like to here on me.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I think my gauge is just way off for the rows. So that's why I stopped under the armpits, and then I started doing a sleeve to make sure it wasn't too wide or too low or anything. Okay. But yeah, I also get bored. So, yeah.
Good tips. Yeah. I knew you had a reason, and I thought people might want to hear it because they might want to do it too.
Yeah.
So I usually will, I'm kind of a follow the directions type person, except for gauge swatching because we know I don't do that. But otherwise, I pretty much follow directions. I do know someone who will often do the sleeves first and see how much yarn she has left over to judge how long she wants to make the body and not have to buy like more yarn and then end up with a whole ton of leftover yarn, which is a good strategy too.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I didn't know what the strategy was on that, but I like it.
If I know I'm playing yarn chicken, I will do it that way.
Yeah.
But I feel like I generally accidentally overbuy a lot. So I usually don't have that problem. But when I do know I will have that problem. Like this sweater, I thought I was going to have that issue. Yeah. But I actually have a whole skein left.
I have a whole skein left too. Oh, I'm really glad you said that. And we used the same yarn. So I was like, did I do math that wrong? Yeah. I don't do math very well. So I really, at that point, I was like, did I really do math that poorly? Because I don't have a ton of the last skein I was using. I don't have much of that left over at all. But then I have an entire other skein.
Right, yeah. I don't know how that happened. No idea. I also went down on my needle size for the body.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah. I thought you did because I was like, that looks like a tighter gauge than mine.
Yeah. It's definitely, I don't know why. I guess it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, my gauge was big though, generally.
Was it?
So that's why I went down. I did a
definitely not bigger than mine.
3.5 for the body.
Okay.
And then I went up to a 4 for the sleeves.
Okay. Yeah. I think it was a 6,
or maybe
right?
4.5. I can't remember.
I think it was 6
I'm talking
for the
millimeters.
Body.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm talking. Yeah. But that's fine. No, I figured what you were doing, but So a few tips on the weekender though. I do want to go back and talk about that for a second because it's cool to have the perspective of having helped people with all 3 weights.
Right.
So the DK weight, I feel like to me had the fewest row gauge issues. I know with the worsted and the fingering, there were some, so the fingering seemed to have, at least for a few people, it ran small, which was really interesting. Okay. One of them I know completely used the wrong needle size though, so that may not be.
Yeah.
But the other one though, she didn't, and she really, it ended up being small for her, so it seems like from the 2 or 3 people who made the fingering version that maybe it ran small, which is an interesting note. So that might be one where either like check your gauge or maybe use a superwash yarn.
Yeah.
The DK seemed to run pretty true to size, at least I felt like it with mine. Although we both ended up with an extra skein of yarn, so maybe don't wind your last one.
I didn't wind my last one.
Bring it back, trade me for something else. But so maybe don't wind your last one if you're doing. I think I did the second. I might have done the smallest size because I
definitely did the smallest size,
which makes sense for you. I usually don't do that, but I think I did do the smallest size.
Yeah.
So if you're doing one of the smaller sizes, watch your yarn and maybe don't wind that last skein. But I feel like everything else with the pattern was pretty true to how it was written. Yeah. I've done the worsted version, and 2 tips I know on that are, and pretty much everyone who did the worsted version has experienced this, so check the number of rows. So when you break for the body and the front and back and the sleeves, check the number of rows you have as you're knitting up, because she says to go not very many inches, and everybody who I know who's made it, including myself, has experienced that when we go to pick up for the sleeves, there are not nearly enough stitches, and so you may end up wanting to knit a few extra inches as you're knitting, when you've split for the body and the sleeves, as you're knitting like your front and your back. Just check that you have the number. So if she wants you to pick up like 58 stitches or something like that, check that you have 29 rows on each side, because with the worsted version, because it's the boat neck and so is the fingering, when you start doing those short rows, unlike with this, your short rows don't actually build any additional rows on, where you're going to pick up for your sleeves. So make sure that you double check that you have the number of rows, and if not, keep knitting, because otherwise you're going to end up with a really teeny arm. And I don't feel like the DK version did that at all. But the fingering and the worsted, double check that. And then the other thing I found on my worsted, and I imagine I didn't really have it on this, but I did something to keep it from happening. I don't know that you definitely didn't have it on this, but I definitely have it on the worsted version. I don't know that you'd have it as much on the fingering just because it's a smaller yarn, but our friend Beth told me it's called rowing out. So when you go from knitting in the round to knitting flat, it can look a little strange, like your tension is different with your purl stitches. So if you're going to do a gauge swatch for this, definitely double check that and see what it looks like when you knit flat, and if you have, kind of like gaps, because it can look a little strange when you go from doing the body in the round to knitting flat. So I used a 6 to knit and a 5 to purl when I went flat. So that brought it together, and probably I could have almost gone down, although I think I'm fine with how it looks. Unlike my worsted version, I'm not fine with how it looks, but this I am. I could have probably almost gone down to a 4. So, like a 6 to knit and a 4 to purl. I don't know, just things to think about.
That's
food for
crazy.
thought if you're doing this pattern.
I've definitely, for the Maggie cardigan, since this yarn is so slippery, kind of, I've noticed that for when I was doing the body. Now I'm in the round for the sleeve, but when I go back to the body, I've actually noticed that my pearls are tighter. So I had to go up a needle size for my pearls. For your pearls. So I'm doing, I think the pattern calls for 3.5 millimeter, and then I'm using a 3.5 millimeter to purl, and then 3.75 to knit. No, the other way around. So, I just mixed that up. 3.75 to purl, 3.5 to knit. So, it's pretty. I think because I purl so weirdly, where I'm like with my other hand I'm grabbing the yarn, that it just is tighter.
Do you continental knit or?
I continental knit, but when I'm doing my pearls, I like grab the yarn with my right hand.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. It's very odd, but
You'll have to show us sometime.
Anyway.
So the good news with that though is I always feel like, and that's a sleeve, but I always feel like
you can see it there.
You notice it less though on the knit side. I think with the weekender, like, so if you can see, Sarah's sweater, I'll hold it like this. On the knit side, I don't think you see it as much, but I do think when you turn it around, if you're looking at anything on the purl side, which, I mean, luckily it's a cardigan, so it won't be, but I think that's why the weekender shows it so much, because I'm sure I've had that in other sweaters I've knit, but I've never noticed it until this pattern, and I think it's because the reverse stockinette side is what's showing.
Right. So, makes sense.
Just just food for thought. Okay, so let's talk about what we're buying at Rhinebeck. Yeah. What are our plans, or do we not have plans?
You can go first.
Okay. So my plans are, being a yarn shop owner, I have a lot of the things I'd already want, but so my biggest goals are going to be to see what else is new, so see what's coming. Are there new, dyers, companies that I should be trying to talk to bring into the store? So that's always a huge goal, the networking factor for me, like the seeing the trends, the seeing what's up and coming, just making strategic, connections. I know last year at Rhinebeck, I met Aimee, and I said, hey, I've been on your wait list for bringing Alpakka into my store, and I said, any chance, that there's a spot opening up, and here it is.
Yeah.
And it's the Yarn Wall of Beauty.
Yeah.
And then, so I know that I've been on Wandering Flocks waitlist for a while, so I think I will probably be trying to grab some Wandering Flock and just get it into the store, which I did last year too, just get it into the store. And I'm doing so this year, I always try to do a holiday trunk show. We have for like Shop Small Saturday, and then the neighborhood that I'm in does like a business open house the first weekend in December, so the next weekend after Shop Small Saturday. So my trunk show this year is I want to feature a whole bunch of indie dyers, so indie dyers that I carry, indie dyers I might want to be bringing into the store. So making some of those connections, bringing in like some Wandering Flock and seeing how it does at the store and how people like it. I know it's a fan favorite, and it's been a fan favorite of mine for a while, so hoping to just meet Geraldine again and maybe get bumped up the list and, like I said, buy some stuff to bring into the store. So,
for sure.
A lot of stuff hopefully for that Indie Dyer Trunk Show feature. Yeah. That's my goal.
Any projects in mind?
Not necessarily for me, because I buy for you all, so that's my main goal.
Yeah.
I really love everyone. I really do. I mean, I love everyone who I've met, and everyone who's come into my life with the store, and so I buy for you guys. So yes, I don't know if I necessarily will. I'll definitely be buying some yarn to thank Barbara, who's covering the store for me Friday and Saturday when we're at Rhinebeck. So definitely be buying some thank you yarn for her. And honestly, otherwise, no, I really think I'm buying for y'all. So.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
So as you saw with my HANDSPUN earlier, I've gotten into spinning. My mom got me a spinning wheel in February. Didn't touch it until probably September. But I've picked up on it pretty quick, and it's definitely very fun. I have a Kromsky Fantasia wheel. It's very fun. I painted the front green. I'll put it in a picture. But I think I am just looking for some like really squishy rustic fiber. I don't know.
You'll find that for
I know.
Sure.
Since it's a sheep and wool festival, I'm expecting there to be a lot of sheep.
Oh yeah,
and I want there to be a lot of like really squishy fiber. So
you definitely there was for sure.
I haven't looked into like what kind of breeds of fiber I want, but I think I want like a creamy beige or like a really dark gray.
Okay, so, I think you'll definitely. I remember seeing that last year.
Because I want natural color.
Yep.
I want undyed fiber. So it's gonna be very exciting to look for that. Awesome. And I don't really have any other plans, but I want to make the EUN sweater. Yep. It has like a really detailed raglan, and then it has a massive split.
Yeah, it's on Lisa's list too.
I've been wanting to make that for a while, so I might buy some yarn for that.
Maybe that will be a knit along next year.
That'd be nice.
So I'm in the process of choosing the store knit alongs and all of the 12 months of beginner Knit+Sip projects. So I will be doing that really shortly after we get back from Rhinebeck. So that one might be on the list because I've heard a few people talking about it.
Yeah. So. I'm also in the process of figuring out what I want to make for my Christmas sweater.
Ooh,
so we'll see. It doesn't.
Yeah,
it'll take me probably like a month to make Christmas sweater.
Yep. Last year you did the Knitting for Olive one, right?
Yeah, I did the holly sweater.
Mm-hmm.
That's really pretty. So that was my first 3-stranded colorwork sweater.
Ooh, yes.
So, with the bobbles too. It was a feat, but I really
you got it done so fast.
Yeah, it was good though. Yeah. I don't really have any other plans.
Cool. I love it. No, that's great. Some spinning fibers. I want to see what you get. There was a whole spinning section, weaving and everything last year, so I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So lastly, for anyone in the Louisville, Kentucky area who's tuning in, on Sunday, October 6th, I've rented a theater at Escape in Middletown, and we're going to be making Beetlejuice pumpkins. We're watching Beetlejuice 2. I'm super excited. Yep. And so I've got some Madeline Tosh Ghost with the Most yarn that we can hold with, I've got these little sets, little sample sets, a couple different ones. So if you hold a couple of those together, it makes a really fun pumpkin. Yeah. Or you can bring your own craft. It's really just meant to be a craft and movie meetup. So I've made the tickets really accessibly priced for anyone who wants to come, because I honestly just want it to be, you know, a thank you to the Louisville community for having opened up its doors to me in the last 18 months and want to bring a lot of people together. So definitely don't need to buy a kit or anything. If you want to make one, that's fun. And I'll have a knit pattern, a crochet pattern, and I will have, you know, kits available, but you don't need to do that. You can bring whatever you're working on and just chat with some fellow makers in the area. So hopefully y'all have stuff like that in your area. Definitely look it up and see what stores in your area are doing, and I'm sure that there's lots of people doing stuff like that. So we'll probably take some pictures there on Sunday. I know you'll be there and can post a couple updates on Instagram. So follow. All right, we'll see y'all at Rhinebeck, or follow along if you can't make it this year and see what the store gets up to. Thanks, y'all. Cheers.
Cheers.